When we think about the architecture of public health infrastructure in Britain, we think about hospitals, walk-in surgeries, and recovery centres. Typologies which all facilitate the vital treatment of post-diagnosis trauma. As a result of underfunding and increasing pressure from the pandemic, the public health sector has expressed the need for a more sustainable healthcare plan that could mediate issues related to daily mental health and chronic disease early on, alleviating the stress on patient treatment. This project is an addition to the existing infrastructure of national health services that is based on population densities and administrative borders, and takes shape as a citywide network of public health sanctuaries, named Asclepion after the ancient Greek healing towns. These spaces would find their home in decommissioned tower blocks, earmarked for demolition or redevelopment. This way, the Asclepions become highly visible, inviting beacons, imposing the significance and dignity of public care in the city. They elevate the visitor away from the bustling street, inviting them to bathe, rest, practice gardening, exchange gossip and cooking tips, and participate in more informal encounters and spontaneous ways of using the spaces for the purposes of self-care. Historically, health crises have imposed infrastructural change on urban space in Britain, from the introduction of parks, waterworks and washhouses to the first public hospitals. Today, with the burgeoning threat of a post-pandemic mental health crisis and other preceding urban-induced ailments, a new infrastructural strategy for public care is required. The Department of Health and Social Care acknowledged the need for such an infrastructural change before the pandemic, and has subsequently introduced plans for the construction of health campuses and healthy new towns outside of big city areas. This project, however, is concerned with the existing context of the city, where the population density is high, space and its public ownership are limited, and where health and leisure facilities are becoming more socially exclusive through privatization and the industrialization of wellness. In their spirit, the vertical Asclepions aim to challenge these commercial conceptions of wellness that often culminate in unrealistic body ideals or simply the absence of illness. With the spatial organization of a range of program-specific and more open spaces, the building invites its visitor to freely seek the experience they need that day.
I believe there's something, but what? You know.
Such ideas of infrastructures of care trace back to the endeavors of the ancient Greeks and Persians. The Greeks built over 300 public health sanctuaries, where visitors were administered sleep therapy, bathing, theatre, and walks in the nature to treat both physical and mental health of regular citizens. Similarly, Bimaristans were a network of early Islamic institutions that served as a place where people could indiscriminately go for medical treatment and recovery care. Like the Asclepions, their architecture utilized color, light, and natural elements to create an atmosphere of comfort and beauty for the visitor. Most importantly, the ethos of these institutions was for them to be a public, infrastructural endeavor administered across the territory. Similar ideas were again revisited by the post-war Finnish government in the 1950s, when it orchestrated a political reform with the aim to elevate the level of public health by constructing a nationwide network of municipal swimming centers. These halls were to be equipped with extensive bathing facilities, saunas, and cafeterias for social interaction as well as communal spaces for hire. The result was a new typology, which put human well-being and therapy at the forefront of social progress, and later developed from a public service into a cultural institution. 80% of the halls are still run by the Finnish state, keeping the facilities accessible to everyone. Vertical Asclepeions aim to do precisely that, to install a piece of infrastructure which will democratize self-care through communal engagement across social backgrounds. Their architecture consists of enclosed spaces that house specific programs such as changing rooms, bathing, sleeping, cooking, and gardens that sit between the ceramic-lined arteries. In the building process that involves local manufacturers and contractors, new enclosed spaces are carved out of the concrete structure. They are lined with a hollow ceramic cladding system that references the Roman box flue tiles, which were used to heat bathhouses in the northern parts of the empire. These new tiles are easily manufactured by extruding clay into hollow shapes that can be clad onto a structural timber frame to animate the concrete skeleton by providing services like water, electricity, and air exchange into its insides. The organic vocabulary of materials like clay and timber should help to create a relationship between the building and the user, where the user feels comfortable and relaxed. Through the adaptive reuse of decommissioned towers across London, Vertical Asclepeions provide a network of buildings where local communities may ground new communal or individual routines that encourage social crossover and participation in self-care across neighbourhoods.
The first time I ever come up here was from the boxing club. So in the summer we used to come up here, run up here for the night, and in the evening, have a swim, then go back to the gym.
One of the aspects of birdwatching that's always absolutely intrigued me is migration. Now this often entails standing out somewhere, not looking at the trees, but looking up. And there's no better place in London than these towers to be up at the same height as many of these migratory birds are travelling.
Rachel will get her hair braided, I'll spoil it. One side be looking like Dumb King, don't it? Ribs in the oven, catch a whiff. Heartless crew on mission, catch a crisp biscuit. Whoa. Ice cream van, yeah, chase it down. Screwball 99, flake it out.
Let me use this home as an example of what could be possible, combining hip-hop, the culture of hip-hop, all the elements with gardening to make it more relevant, make it culturally accessible, make it fun, make it engaging.
Septemberton's locked up, but we don't talk about it. Lee and Karis don't speak of things ain't cool with Aaron. But amongst all the bullshit, it's love though. You gotta love London in the sun, bro. You done know.
The 19th century and the modernist era saw an emergence of architecture that promoted clinical design as a response to urban disease like tuberculosis, and held hygiene as the means for the survival of the city. Taking care of the daily mental health of urban populations is the hygiene of the 21st century. Post-pandemic, post-Brexit Britain is likely to see a rise in mental health problems, but simultaneously a refreshed and fortified appreciation for public healthcare services and social care. There is an urgency and a momentum behind driving sustainable environmental policy, but it is equally important to derive sustainable social and cultural policy with regards to daily human life and health in the city. Providing people with a space where they can find alternative routines and perhaps a feeling of belonging in a time of uncertainty is purposeful. The project challenges the Healthy New Towns policy of the Department of Health and Social Care and offers a counter-proposal that is embedded into the existing urban infrastructure and the wider historic context of such projects. Distancing itself from the socially exclusive wellness industry and alternative health trends, this project believes in the inherent ability of public architecture to democratize communal care through social engagement, therapeutic services, and spatial qualities that are not characteristic of the average domestic space in the city. At the project's heart sits the ambition to reinstall an architecture of public care and to provide a space for new community cultures to evolve.